Israel's airstrikes are integral to its strategy of maintaining security along its borders by diminishing the military capabilities of potential threats from Syria. This initiative has been in place since the collapse of Assad's regime. In spite of widespread international criticism of its military actions, Israel defends its operations as crucial for national security, asserting that they do not interfere with Syria's internal affairs. The new Syrian leadership's indifference toward Israel's airstrikes signifies a notable shift in regional dynamics, where local communities express mixed feelings towards Israel amidst the chaos of civil war. A considerable number of Syrians have distanced themselves from the Assad regime, with some even aligning with the Israeli government as a means to escape the ongoing conflict. Such realignments are reshaping traditional alliances in the region. Iran's evolving stance towards the new Syrian leadership raises alarms over potential power realignments in the region, which has significant implications for Israel. The situation becomes even more complex with the emergence of pragmatic rebel groups in Syria, which show a reduced inclination to provoke conflict with Israel. Their primary focus is on stabilizing their governance. Jordanian intelligence operations wield considerable influence over the West Bank, particularly in refugee camps, significantly impacting regional stability and security measures. This intelligence network is vital for monitoring militant activities. Although anti-Israel sentiments prevail, the Jordanian public largely exhibits passivity in protests against Israel. This situation underscores a complex relationship between the monarchy and its citizens, challenging the king to navigate these tensions. The Palestinian Authority faces increasing challenges to its legitimacy and control from fundamentalist factions, raising pressing concerns about its ability to govern effectively. The IDF remains pivotal in maintaining order amidst these challenges. Recent protests in Israel led by families of hostages have gained momentum, elevating the issue on the government's agenda. These demonstrations have persisted for several months. With Hamas's isolation increasing, new opportunities for negotiation may arise. This shift in the geopolitical landscape could reshape the conditions for a deal. Discussions surrounding the release of prominent Palestinian prisoners, such as Marwan Barghouti, are likely to feature prominently in hostage negotiations. His release is viewed as a critical bargaining chip. The historical significance of prisoner exchanges adds pressure to current negotiations since precedents from past agreements could affect public perception and governmental responses. Recent polls indicate a notable decline in Hamas's popularity in Gaza, suggesting a potential shift in public sentiment toward alternative leadership. This emerging trend could significantly influence future political dynamics. Dissatisfaction with President Abbas in the West Bank underscores a widespread desire for new leadership among Palestinians, as many seek alternatives to both Abbas and Hamas. Since 1979, women's rights in Iran have faced severe restrictions, encompassing strict laws against showing skin or singing in public. Such repression fuels public discontent and amplifies protests. The regional geopolitical landscape is in flux, impacting the regime's stability. Increased pressure from external powers, particularly from the incoming U.S. administration, threatens the regime's grip on power. In response to dissent, the Iranian regime invests heavily in cyber operations and employs sophisticated propaganda techniques, reflecting their acknowledgement of the digital space as a significant threat. Civilians in Syria reveal mixed feelings about Israel, with some expressing a preference for annexation due to dissatisfaction with Islamist rebel control. This unexpected sentiment illustrates the intricate dynamics at play in the region. Prime Minister Netanyahu describes Israel's military presence in Syria as provisional, expressing a readiness to establish relations with the new Syrian leadership while emphasizing the importance of Israel's security. To maintain order in the West Bank, the Palestinian Authority is targeting armed groups. This strategy reflects the internal struggles within Palestinian governance amid ongoing tensions with Israel and Hamas. Israel's military presence in Syria has intensified, with reports indicating troops operating near key routes as a response to perceived threats from the Syrian government. The Druze community in Israel finds itself divided in terms of identity and allegiance. While some feel secure under Israeli governance, others maintain strong ties with Syria. Concerns over extremist groups infiltrating from Syria have heightened regional tensions, with Israeli officials wary of potential threats to national security emanating from these groups. The Syrian opposition leader stresses the importance of achieving a just and courageous peace with Israel, highlighting an openness that could redefine regional dynamics. His comments aim to bridge gaps and foster understanding. Concerns regarding ongoing Israeli military actions in Syria persist, with many viewing these operations as undermining Syrian sovereignty, prompting questions about how such actions affect peace negotiations. Syrian citizens express a yearning for stable governance and constructive relations with Israel, indicating a shift in public sentiment towards collaboration rather than conflict. This reflects the complexities of Syrian aspirations amidst ongoing turmoil. Netanyahu's corruption trial introduces significant political challenges that could influence coalition dynamics and the government's overall direction. His inability to engage in crucial discussions adds to the complexity of the situation. The Palestinian Authority's recent military maneuvers in the West Bank signify a shift in the dynamics, as the PA endeavors to assert control amid a backdrop of violence and instability. This raises questions about their effectiveness and future governance role. Public protests surrounding the hostage situation in Gaza reveal widespread concerns about government transparency and the urgency of negotiations. Families are demanding accountability and swift action from the government to ensure the safe return of their loved ones. Negotiations are expected to involve a staged release of hostages, prioritizing vulnerable categories such as women, children, and the elderly. This approach underscores the humanitarian crisis at hand. The U.S. Secretary of State emphasizes the growing alienation of Hamas, suggesting that they may be succumbing to pressure for a deal. This shift could profoundly influence the eventual outcome of ongoing negotiations. The personal narratives of families affected by the conflict poignantly illustrate the emotional toll associated with the situation. Grieving relatives urgently call for the safe return of their loved ones. The retreat provided a supportive environment for participants to connect with others grappling with similar grief and challenges. Such connections are vital for emotional healing and community support. Activities and lectures at the retreat were tailored to foster interaction and support among attendees. Engaging in shared experiences allowed individuals to navigate their emotions together. The generosity exhibited by organizers and participants cultivated a welcoming atmosphere, making individuals feel valued and acknowledged. This sense of belonging plays a crucial role in times of hardship. Recent Israeli strikes have targeted advanced weaponry and chemical facilities in Syria, reflecting ongoing security concerns along their borders. This proactive strategy responds to the evolving power dynamics. The collapse of the Assad regime has triggered a dramatic change in control, with Sunni forces gaining ground and pushing back against Iranian influence. This transition signals the end of the Shiite era in Syria. Growing uncertainty surrounds the nature of the new Sunni leadership in Syria, raising questions about whether they will adopt a moderate, extremist, or pragmatic approach to governance. These developments could significantly impact regional stability. Israeli troops have advanced closer to vital routes, raising concerns over security and military presence in the region. Their proximity to Damascus may impact future political negotiations. Jordan grapples with intense pressure stemming from the instability in Syria, especially given its close ties to the Assad regime. This situation poses substantial challenges for Jordan's leadership. The dynamics between the Palestinian Authority and militant groups are evolving, as recent clashes reveal the ongoing struggle for control in the West Bank. This persistent conflict underscores the fragility of governance in the area. The enduring conflict in Syria has captured global attention, significantly affecting perceptions of stability across the region. A nuanced understanding of these dynamics is crucial to grasping the current situation. The historical context of generations of conflict in Israel provides critical insight into the frustrations currently felt by Palestinian society. Understanding this background is essential for comprehending present circumstances. An interview with Fad al-Masri sheds light on the experiences of those living under rebel control in Idlib, illuminating the personal stories behind the political turmoil.